All right, back with you on the Bronx Buzz. I am thrilled about this particular segment because this is to talk about our kids who should be doing this and more every single day. And so it is my pleasure to welcome a photographer, filmmaker, educator. He is the coordinator of the Bronx Junior Photo League, the BJPL, and say hello with me to Ricardo Partida. Nice to see you, Ricardo.
And nice seeing you too. And thank you for having me.
Yeah, we're thrilled. I'm thrilled about this, as we were just discussing. Our kids have been looking at uh, monitors for 2 years, alone in their homes or their rooms or wherever they are,
hmm
and you give them a chance to get out. Talk to me about the Bronx Junior Photo League, what you do, who the youngsters are who participate, et cetera, et cetera. And then we're going to show some stuff and we're going to really get into it.
Okay, yeah. So the Bronx Junior Photo League is an after-school education program for kids in New York City. We focus a lot on like kids in the South Bronx, well, the youth in the South Bronx, but also like we have youth coming from like different boroughs like Queens, Manhattan, and what we do is like we want to teach them photography and also video. We just actually started a video documentary program, but we want to teach them documentary methods through by them getting a camera and going out into the streets and forming critical thinking with the skills that
Do you give them a camera,
Mhm.
or a lot of us have one of these, and so we use this, or like how does that work? Because of course, not every child has the opportunity to say, "Okay, mom, go buy me a Nikon."
Yeah, so all the youth in our program, actually we give them a
Wow.
DSLR and we teach them the photography methods. Like we go out and we teach them aperture, shutter speed, and ISO. So we want to teach them like the basically the photography language so that they can, they have the ability to utilize it because like it's actually a skill. It's a skill set.
Well, it actually is a skill. It to me, it's just incredibly exciting. What's the larger? We'll break it down, and we can show some pictures and things like that. What's the larger agenda? You talked about, giving them some intellectual skills and things. But what do you see when you see a child? And we're talking about middle school and high school. Is that what we're doing?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
we middle school and high school, yeah.
So, what's the difference between when a child starts and says, "Oh wow, I'm doing this," and when they end? What's the difference in the child? Do you see growth? Do you see development? Does it make an impact on them as people?
Yeah, definitely. So a lot of the youth that join our program, they're interested a little bit in photography. They're like, oh, I want to learn how to go out and like use a camera. But what we actually teach is we teach storytelling. Storytelling is very important in our photography, and not just a pretty picture. We actually want them to go out and like really be in the community, get to talk to the people in the community, get to witness, what they see with it. So it's like photography is a means for them of expression, but it's also a means for us to like really discover where we're at because we're in the South Bronx. Is It's known as the poorest urban congressional district in the United
Yeah,
States.
listen, man, you could do any description you want. Everybody's heard them all for years, and so believe me, I know what we're known as. Um, so you send them out, and to me, aside from the skill and the photography and seeing yourself create something, as if those are not important agendas, but you're getting them to talk to people, as we just saw in those pictures. You're getting them to learn about their community, understand maybe some of the problems about poverty or other issues that we have, healthcare, or all kinds of drug addictions. If they go and shoot, they're going to find that stuff. It just helps us all do better, and it helps those kids say, when I get a little older, maybe I can, right? I mean, I'm telling, this is what we're doing, right?
Exactly, exactly. And a few of them are actually like, they're getting jobs already. Like they're the
Wow,
photographers in their high schools, and like they're going out
wow.
and like photographing quinceañeras, and yeah, they're out there, you know.
Wow. And you could see there, again, imagine being a young person in the Bronx and having the thrill of somebody handing you a camera and then watching you go through it. Well, what motivated, aside from the fact that I want to promote this wonderful program in this photo league, what motivated us to call you and say, let's do it, is you put out a magazine.
Mhm.
Apparently, it's a bilingual magazine, but perfectly appropriate, of course. Um, Talk about Focus. That's the name of the magazine.
Correct. Yeah. So the reason why I decided to start BDC Focus is because I wanted to provide them an outlet for expression, and like also I wanted to focus on stories here in the South Bronx. We had alumni as well that were inspired through this program to pursue a career in journalism. So they wanted, like for example, we had her name is Pamela Roson. She was still part of the BDC, but I wanted to create her, like basically an opportunity for her to share these stories. And for also for the students to share stories. So we created the newspaper called Focus as a means for that.
And so, aside from them taking pictures, the Bronx Documentary Center showing the pictures and having all kinds of events and showings and galleries and things like that, now there will be the storytelling takes maybe on a larger focus, if you will, because now are you going to distribute a paper? And be available online. I mean, because I'd like to read it and enjoy the photos, but I'd like to have other people appreciate it as well. We don't have enough media in the Bronx.
Yeah, no, definitely. We have the publication in Spanish and in English, and we have it digitally, and we have it here at the Bronx Documentary Center physically as well.
Mhm.
So if
And
people want to see it, yeah,
is it launched yet? I mean,
it
I have.
already launched. We have like our issue launched in December, and we're gonna have another issue that's gonna launch late May, early June as well.
And how often do you anticipate? But you say late May, so you do like what, four a year, two a year,
So
three a year,
right now we're focusing
do
on two a
two,
year
two.
uh, for the semesters of the BJPL.
What a tremendous concept it is. So let's get into some of the specifics. Now? One of the things that I really like, as you told us before the show, that it's a year, like it's a school year long program. So it's not like you get them in and you get them out, but they get to get their hands dirty with this stuff. Like they really learn how to shoot and come back, et cetera, et cetera. So just talk about the structure of the program and how it works.
Yeah, so we have different classes. We basically, if you're a high school student, if it's a high school student, they start usually in our intro to digital photography class, which is we focus on like documentary methods, but we teach them how to use a DSLR camera. Right after that, if they want to continue with our program, then we have another class which is the advanced documentary class, which we teach them analog. So we teach them how to shoot in film, and then we go into our dark room and we actually print those pictures. We
I,
develop them, we print them, and we give them out to the community as well.
I saw a picture, a photograph of them looking at film, and I was like, "Whoa, wait a minute!" Now,
Exactly.
I appreciate very much that really is how you make pictures. That's how we always made pictures. You get kids who are interested in that. It must be amazing to develop the film. I mean,
It's amazing.
nowadays, where you got one of these, you can take any picture you want, but there you watch the thing develop. It's
Exactly.
amazing.
You watch it come to life, and like you basically they get to touch it. They get to, they get to also look forward for the pictures. Like I feel like nowadays we have our phones, and it's so easy for us to just like snap
Yeah,
a
I
picture of
know.
whatever we see. We teach
Terrible.
them how to think about a picture and like go and actually find the picture that we actually want, and then to see it come to life. It's just another feeling.
I'm just curious before we let you go. Your background. Now, you've been a photographer. You've been a filmmaker.
Mhm.
I think people would be interested in knowing, who you are and how you learned to do this and why you have such passion for this.
Yeah, so basically, my passion is like I really wanted to help out people, and I studied film, and I've been a photographer and a filmmaker, and like I wanted to use photography and film as a means to help out others. And basically, I think the BDC found me. it's just, it was put on to me. I saw a video of a documentary they did about essential workers, because initially my passion of helping out people took me to, I'm not originally from New York. I'm from Columbus, Ohio, and I was actually on my path to become a firefighter, but I, it just wasn't for me. And then I moved to the city. I found the Bronx Documentary Center, and I just had to get involved in any way.
If your agenda, personal agenda, was to use your skill to help other people, you're in the right spot. I
Absolutely.
mean, it's interesting to me that you may be from Ohio, but you come here, and I've used this 1,000 times. It's like undiscovered territory here. Nobody knows we're here. They don't know how we live. They don't know who we are. I mean, I saw a thing actually. What was I saw the Family Feud, and there was a family from the Bronx, and something came up, and the guy said guns, and the guy right away made some comment. Steve Harvey made some comment about, oh well, you're from the Bronx, and I'm like, shut up.
Exactly, exactly. And you know what?
It's so stupid.
It's like people. I mean, the Bronx is just so unique within itself. Like
Yeah,
it's you. There's no place like it, and to me,
yeah,
like, it really is like a representation of like what New York City is, and like the people that work in New York City. So it's just
yeah.
it's just amazing.
Listen, you're preaching to the choir here. So, first of all, I want to thank my buddy Michael Camber, because the Bronx Documentary Center is his house, and he founded it and makes it work. And it's just one of the great resources that we have in the Bronx. Tell us how people can, if they young people want to enroll, or parents want to have their kids enroll. How do they become part of the Bronx Junior Photo League?
Yeah, definitely. You can send me an email at education@bronxdoc.org, or you can also send me an email at ricardo@bronxdoc.org. Enrollment is not going to start until, like, we also have a summer program, but enrollment is going to start around April. So
Right.
if people want to also see us, they can also see us online at bronxdoc.com. And then, yeah, we have a lot of
you know
events. And
yeah, let's do that, and people and young people and mom and dad and others, get your kids out, and let's get them to do that next time, Ricardo. So maybe when you start enrolling for the next session, I want you to bring on a couple of photographers, and
absolutely,
and
absolutely.
and we'll talk to the kids. They can show us some of their favorite pictures. You're a nice interview, but a youngster talking firsthand about what they do and why they do it and what they've learned. We want to do that. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Applause for Ricardo Partida, who is a photographer, filmmaker, and educator, but most importantly for us, the BJPL coordinator. Thanks, man. And
Thank you so
let's
much.
let's
Thank you
keep
so much
rocking
for
the
having me
we
here.
keep rocking the Bronx.
All right.
So that's going to be it for the Bronx Buzz. We thank Mr. Torres for joining us, and we thank Ricardo for joining us. And guess what? We'll see you next week. Good night.